Imagine this. You're 17 years old. You're sitting in an airplane seat, 9,000 meters above the Amazon jungle. Then, without warning, lightning rips the plane apart. The fuselage explodes. You are falling. 3,000 meters. Still strapped to your seat, falling through the sky, falling towards the jungle below. And then you hit the trees. When you wake up, you are alone. Your mother is gone. The other 92 passengers are gone. You are the sole survivor. Your collarbone is broken. Your eye is swollen shut. Your body is covered in cuts. And you are in the middle of the Amazon jungle, one of the most dangerous places on Earth. No food, no water, no shelter. And 11 days until rescue. This is not a movie. This is the true story of Juliane Köpke, the girl who fell from the sky and survived what no one thought possible. What she endured in those 11 days will haunt you. What she had to do to stay alive will shock you. This is her story. December 24th, 1971. Christmas Eve. Lima, Peru. Juliane Köpke is 17 years old. She has just graduated from high school in Lima and is heading home to her parents' research station deep in the Peruvian Amazon. Her mother, Maria Köpke, a renowned ornithologist, is traveling with her. They are both excited to spend Christmas with Juliane's father, Hans Wilhelm, who is waiting for them at the Panguana research station. But there is a problem. They are running late. The only flight that can get them home in time for Christmas is Lanza Flight 508, operated by a small Peruvian airline with a questionable safety record. Juliane's mother is nervous. She doesn't like flying in bad weather, and the weather today is terrible. Dark thunderclouds hang over the Andes, lightning flickers in the distance. Other passengers are canceling their flights, choosing to wait for better conditions. But Maria and Juliane can't wait. They need to get home. They board the plane. The plane is a Lockheed L-188 Electra, a turboprop carrying 93 people, 86 passengers and 7 crew members. The plane is packed. People are nervous. The storm outside is getting worse. Juliane takes her seat next to her mother. Row 19, window seat. She looks out at the dark clouds and feels a knot of anxiety in her stomach. Her mother squeezes her hand. "It will be okay," Maria says, though her voice betrays her own fear. The plane takes off. The first 30 minutes of the flight are smooth. They are flying east towards the Amazon basin, away from the Andes. But then they enter the storm. The turbulence hits. The plane shakes violently. Overhead bins rattle. Passengers gasp. Flight attendants struggle to keep their balance. The captain's voice comes over the intercom, calm but strained. "Please remain seated. We are experiencing some light turbulence." Light turbulence. It's an understatement. Outside the window, Juliane sees thick black clouds. Lightning flashes. The plane drops suddenly, like an elevator with its cable cut. People scream. Juliane grips the armrests, her knuckles white. And then it happens. A blinding flash. The sound of an explosion. The entire plane shudders. Juliane looks out the window and sees something impossible. Fire. The right wing is on fire. Lightning has struck a fuel tank. The wing is engulfed in flames. The passengers are screaming now. Panic erupts. Juliane's mother grips her hand so tight it hurts. "That's it," Maria whispers. "This is the end." But it's not the end. Not yet. The plane begins to break apart. The fuselage tears open. Metal screeches. The cabin depressurizes. The roar of the wind is deafening. And then, in an instant, Juliane's row of seats is ripped from the plane. She is still strapped in, still sitting next to her mother, but they are no longer in the plane. They are falling through the sky, 3,000 meters above the Amazon jungle. Juliane sees pieces of the plane tumbling around her. Luggage, bodies, debris, everything is spinning. The wind is so loud she can't hear her own screams. She looks at her mother, but her mother is gone. The seats have separated. Juliane is now alone, still strapped to her seat, plummeting towards the green canopy below. She blacks out. When Juliane wakes up, it is morning. She is lying on the jungle floor, still strapped to her seat. She has no memory of hitting the ground. Scientists would later theorize that the row of seats acted like a helicopter blade, spinning as it fell and slowing her descent just enough that when she hit the thick jungle canopy, the layers of branches and vines cushioned her impact. It is a 1 in a million chance. Juliane tries to move. Pain explodes through her body. Her right collarbone is broken. She can feel it. Her left eye is completely swollen shut. Blood is dripping from a deep gash on her arm. Her legs are covered in cuts and bruises. She is barefoot. One shoe is missing. Her glasses are gone. She looks around. The jungle is thick, suffocating. Massive trees tower overhead, blocking out the sun. The air is thick, humid, oppressive. The sounds are overwhelming. Birds, insects, monkeys howling in the distance. This is the Amazon, one of the most dangerous ecosystems on Earth. Juliane screams, "Mama! Mama!" Her voice is hoarse, weak. There is no answer. Only the jungle. She tries to stand up. Every movement is agony. Her collarbone grinds with every breath. But she forces herself up. She has to find her mother. She stumbles through the undergrowth, calling out, "Hello? Is anyone there?" Nothing. Just silence and the endless hum of insects. As she walks, she begins to see debris. Pieces of the plane, a suitcase, a shoe, a jacket, and then something that makes her blood run cold. Bodies. They are everywhere, scattered through the jungle like broken dolls. Some still strapped to their seats, some lying in the undergrowth, twisted at unnatural angles. Juliane doesn't recognize any of them. She forces herself to look at their faces, hoping not to see her mother. She doesn't, but she also doesn't find anyone alive. She is alone, the sole survivor. The reality crashes down on her. She is 17 years old. She is injured. She's in the middle of the Amazon jungle with no food, no water, no shoes, and no way to call for help. She has no idea where she is, no idea which way to go. But Juliane is not just a 17-year-old girl. She grew up in the jungle. Her parents are biologists who run a research station deep in the Amazon. She has spent her childhood learning about the rainforest. She knows the dangers. She knows how to survive. And she knows one critical rule her father taught her. If you are lost in the jungle, find water. Follow the streams. They lead to rivers. Rivers lead to people. So that's what she does. She looks for water. Juliane finds a small stream. It's barely a trickle, but it's flowing downhill. She starts walking, one step at a time, barefoot. Every step is torture. The jungle floor is a minefield of sharp rocks, thorns and hidden dangers. Her feet are bleeding, but she keeps going. The jungle is relentless. Insects swarm around her constantly. Mosquitoes, flies, ants. They bite and sting without mercy. Her exposed skin becomes a mass of red welts. But the worst are the botflies. Juliane doesn't notice them at first. But the botflies have already found her. They have laid their eggs in her open wounds. Water is her biggest problem. There is a stream, but drinking from it is dangerous. The Amazon is full of parasites, bacteria, and diseases that can kill you. But Juliane has no choice. She is desperate for a drink. She drinks from the stream, scooping water with her hands. It tastes dirty, earthy. She knows it could infect her. But dehydration will kill her the faster. Food is another problem. She has nothing. The jungle is full of food if you know what to look for, but much of it is poisonous or inedible. Juliane knows this. She doesn't risk eating anything she's not absolutely sure of. So she starves. Her stomach cramps. Her body grows weak. But she keeps walking. On the second day, she hears helicopters. Search and rescue teams are looking for the wreckage. She tries to signal them, waving her arms, shouting, but the jungle canopy is too thick. They can't see her. The helicopters fly overhead and disappear. Hope drains out of her. She realizes no one is coming. If she is going to survive, she has to save herself. On the third day, the pain in her arm is getting worse. The deep gash is infected. The wound is hot, swollen, filled with pus. And then she feels it. A movement inside the wound. Maggots. Not just any maggots. Botfly larvae. They are burrowing into her flesh, feeding on her tissue. She can feel them wriggling under her skin. The sensation is unbearable. She tries to dig them out with her fingers, but they are too deep. They are eating her alive. Panic sets in. She is infected. She is being consumed by parasites. If she doesn't get them out, they will spread. They will burrow deeper. They could kill her. But she can't stop. She has to keep walking. By the fourth day, Juliane is deteriorating rapidly. Her collarbone is agony. Every breath is like a knife. Her eye is still swollen shut. The cuts on her body are festering. And the maggots are spreading. She can feel them, not just in her arm now, in her back, in her legs. Dozens of them, burrowing, feeding. She tries to stay calm, but the psychological horror is overwhelming. The jungle is a nightmare. At night, it comes alive with sound. Howler monkeys scream in the darkness. Jaguars roar. Snakes slither through the undergrowth. Juliane doesn't sleep. She sits by a tree, shivering, terrified, listening to the predators around her. During the day, the heat is suffocating. The humidity is so thick it's hard to breathe. Sweat pours from her body, attracting more insects. Her lips crack. Her skin blisters from the sun. She is dehydrated, starving, infected, and exhausted, but she keeps walking. The stream is getting bigger. She is on the right track. She must be. On the fifth day, she finds something. A bag of candy. It must have fallen from the plane. It's half melted, covered in dirt, but it's food. She tears it open and eats. The sugar is overwhelming, almost painful, but it gives her a surge of energy, just a little, enough to keep going. On the sixth day, she finds more wreckage, a row of seats, 3 bodies still strapped in. They are women. One of them looks like her mother. Juliane's heart stops. She approaches slowly, terrified. She looks at the face. It's not her mother. Relief and grief wash over her at the same time. Her mother is still out there somewhere, maybe alive, maybe dead. She will never know. Juliane keeps walking. On the 7th day, the maggots in her wounds are unbearable. She can feel them moving constantly. She is desperate to get them out. She remembers something her father taught her. Botfly larvae need air. If you cut off their air supply, they will come to the surface to breathe. Then you can pull them out. But how? She has nothing. No tools, no supplies. Then she remembers gasoline, kerosene. Anything flammable will suffocate the larvae. But she has no gasoline. She has nothing. She keeps walking, hoping she will find something. On the 9th day, the stream has become a river. A real river. Wide, flowing, powerful. Juliane's heart soars. This is it. Rivers mean people. She is going to survive. She follows the riverbank, looking for signs of civilization. And then she sees it. A boat. A small wooden canoe pulled up on the bank. It's old, battered, but it's a boat, which means people, which means she is close. She looks around. No one. The boat is abandoned, but nearby she sees a shelter. A small hut made of palm fronds and wood. It's a logging camp, or a hunting camp. Whoever built it isn't here now, but they will be back. They have to be. Juliane collapses in the shelter. Relief floods through her. She has found civilization. She is safe, but she is not safe yet. The maggots are still eating her. The infection is spreading. She's running out of time. She searches the hut. There's a can of motor oil, fuel for a boat engine. It's old, rancid, but it's flammable. Juliane knows what she has to do. She pours the motor oil on her wounds. The smell is overpowering, nauseating. The oil stings as it seeps into the infected flesh. She grits her teeth, fighting the urge to scream, and then, slowly, the maggots begin to emerge. One by one they wriggle to the surface, gasping for air. Juliane watches in horror and relief as the white squirming larvae crawl out of her arm, her back, her legs. Dozens of them. She pulls them out with her fingers, squeezing, digging, until they are all gone. It is the most disgusting, painful thing she has ever experienced. But it works. The maggots are out. The infection can begin to heal. She collapses, exhausted, and waits. Someone will come. She just has to wait. On the 10th day, voices wake her, men's voices, speaking Spanish. Juliane tries to sit up. Her body screams in protest. She is weak, feverish, barely conscious. But she forces herself to stand. She stumbles out of the hut. 3 men are standing by the river. Loggers. They see her and freeze. They stare at this vision. A teenage girl covered in blood and dirt, barefoot, her clothes torn to rags. Her body is a mass of sores and scars. She looks like a ghost, like something that has crawled out of the jungle. "Help me," Juliane rasps in Spanish. "Please, I was in a plane crash." The men are stunned. They have heard about the crash. Everyone in Peru has. Lanza Flight 508. 93 people dead. No survivors. But here is a survivor, standing before them, alive, barely. They rush to help her. They give her water, food. She can barely swallow. They clean her wounds as best they can. They are kind, gentle, horrified by what they see. One of them radios for help, but the nearest town is hours away by boat. They have to get her out of the jungle first. The next morning, the loggers take Juliane down the river in their canoe. It is a 7-hour journey. Juliane drifts in and out of consciousness. She has survived 11 days in the Amazon, 11 days alone, 11 days that would have killed anyone else. But she is alive. When they reach a town, she is airlifted to a hospital in Pucallpa. The doctors are amazed she is still breathing. Her wounds are infected. She is malnourished. She is covered in insect bites and parasitic infections. But she is alive. The news of her survival spreads like wildfire. The girl who fell from the sky. The sole survivor of Lancer Flight 508. A miracle in the jungle. But for Juliane, it is not a miracle. It is a nightmare she will carry for the rest of her life. Juliane's mother, Maria Kopke, is never found alive. Her body is discovered days later in the wreckage. She survived the initial crash, but her injuries were too severe. She died in the jungle, alone, waiting for help that never came. 92 people died on Lancer Flight 508. Juliane is the only survivor. And the guilt almost destroys her. She spends weeks in the hospital, recovering physically, but the psychological scars run deeper. She has nightmares, flashbacks. She hears her mother's voice. She feels the maggots crawling under her skin. She sees the bodies in the jungle. The survivor's guilt is a crushing weight. Why her? Why did she survive when 92 others died? What made her special? Nothing. She was just lucky, and that knowledge haunts her. But Juliane Kopke is not one to give up. She returns to Germany, where her father is from. She finishes her education. She becomes a biologist, like her parents. She returns to the Amazon. The place that almost killed her becomes her life's work. She writes a book about her experience, When I Fell from the Sky. She gives interviews. She tells her story, not for fame, but to honor the memory of those who didn't survive, to honor her mother. And she makes peace with the jungle, the place that took her mother, the place that almost killed her, the place that in a strange way saved her. Because Juliane's survival was not just luck. It was knowledge, the knowledge her parents gave her, the lessons about the jungle, the understanding of the natural world. That knowledge kept her alive. Juliane Kopke fell 3,000 meters from the sky. She survived. She walked for 11 days through the Amazon jungle, one of the most hostile environments on Earth. Injured, alone, infected, starving. And she survived. Her story is not about luck. It is about knowledge, determination, and a refusal to give up. It is about a 17-year-old girl who faced impossible odds and chose to live. 92 people died that day. Juliane carries their memory. She honors their loss, and she lives her life in a way that proves their deaths were not in vain. She went back to the jungle. She became a scientist. She dedicated her life to understanding and protecting the Amazon, the place that both took everything from her and gave her the strength to survive. Juliane Kopke is in her 70s now. She is still working in the Amazon. She is still telling her story. And she is a reminder to us all that survival is not about being the strongest or the luckiest. It's about refusing to quit. Even when the world is falling apart around you, even when you are falling from the sky. If this story moved you, if it made you think about survival, loss, and the strength we find in our darkest moments, hit the like button and subscribe to the channel for more incredible true stories of human resilience. These are the stories that remind us of what we are capable of. Stories like Juliane Koepke's, who fell from the sky and refused to die. Thanks for watching, and remember, survival is never a guarantee. But the will to survive can carry you through anything.